Hi there, Graham here from Believe and Achieve Marketing and Life Success. Hope you're really well today. Just a really short video for you today, but I wanted to discuss the topic of your belief system. Now, imagine for a moment the ludicrous suggestion that 7.5 billion people currently on this planet, or 7.5 billion spiritual beings on this planet, have a belief system that isn't actually theirs. And the belief system is of another's beliefs. Well, how ludicrous would that sound? And that is exactly what we're faced with on this human journey of our spiritualness. Today, we are all operating on the beliefs or the paradigm, the construct of another's belief system. And it is our role as spiritual beings to find ourselves and return home to love, that which we are. We are all derived of the universe, and therefore we are all each uniquely, unlimited, undivided, without separateness. We are all oneness. So how is it we find ourselves in this place of the outside world in such a tormented place, such a tormented state? Well, it's down to the fact that our beliefs are not our own. It is this resistance from within us as spiritual beings that is creating and manifesting the conflict on the outside world, because we're all individually and uniquely, with no denial, or with parts of inner state of conflict within us, because our belief system is run by another's belief. This is the friction within each of us on our human part of our journey from our human state, which we're here to eradicate. And the belief system that we have all become indoctrinated with is one that has been here for thousands of years. Thousands of years, and it has been passed down by the elitist bloodlines, the bloodlines of the ruling class, shall we say. Now, throughout history, which is his story after all, being the elite ruling bloodline class creation, always tells that version of events. And so even our history that we believe to be true is also a myth, I'm afraid. The world that we see with our outside, on our outside with our eyes, is that of an illusion created by, on this human journey, the ruling class, or the ruling classes that seek to maintain their power and control. And their power and control has been derived by owning and operating and controlling the financial system. So if you're at the top of the financial system and you own and create the money supply, then you have full free will of absolutely all things, everyone in those things, and the entire population as a result. And if you do not want to give up your perceived illusion of wealth and dominance, then you will do anything to hold on to that so-called perceived wealth and dominance. The emotion of narcissism springs to mind. Those who believe they are, in some cases, lacking something in their life, something in their belief system, something in their being in general. They feel lesser than, so they need more to dominate over others. And it's really that fear that is running the show. So us on the bottom of the so-called pyramid, bit of a clue there, of this dominance and control, we're all at the bottom of that pyramid. And it's time we take responsibility for placing ourselves at the bottom of that pyramid, because we have the power. We have allowed this to happen. We have had our perception deceived. As the t-shirt says, we will be deceived no more. And it is time for us all to stand in our truth, with love, with compassion and take our power back, because all of the illusion of the outside world is a construct of those at the very top of this lovely triangle right there, or this lovely pyramid right there. So our entire lives are really, in a nutshell, without sugarcoating it, they're not our own. They're a lie. Everything we've ever known is a lie, and everything that we've believed about ourselves is a lie, because we were born into the very same system that our parents were born into, and their parents were born into, and their parents were born into. Now, this is not a blame fest. This is a reality check, and that's where paradigms come from. Paradigms are a construct, and a construct that is designed by man can really have no validity, either in law or on a universal perspective, over another. How can oneness be separated? It can't. How can division exist? It can't. We're all in this together, and we've all been deceived. So I'm here to tell you that as a spiritual being myself, none of the outside world is actually true. None of it is true. Particularly that is fed from the mainstream media, also owned and operated by those souls who have lost their soul, and they're at the top of the power chain, or the pyramid of power, owning and running those mainstream media channels as well. Also, the education system is, again, part of that very same pyramid of control. And let's just face it, I'm here not to sugarcoat anything, but the education system is not education at all. It is there to dumb down our children, to remove our children's truth of spirit from who they really are, and turn them into a drone or a robot or a repeater to repeat and regurgitate what the teacher has taught them, which comes from the national curriculum, which comes from the higher echelons of the power structure. Again, the teachers go to training college, and they are trained the version that the system wants the teachers to teach. So we're all basically a bunch of repeaters. We're all repeaters, repeating secondary knowledge with no real first-hand information. And this is our test. We've forgotten our first-hand information. So the news, the mainstream media, Hollywood, the film production in Hollywood, again, all run by the same pyramid of perceived power. Again, transluting their messages through the films to fit the agenda of what they want to achieve. So we've discussed how our beliefs are not ours. We've discussed the education system, the news or the mainstream media, and also we've touched upon Hollywood. Let's look at the medical profession and the healthcare system. Again, many cures out there for some of the most deadly of diseases that, again, are constructed by the very same few. Cancer, there are multiple cures, cannabis oil being one of them. Cannabis oil actually is a cure for many ailments, such as cancer itself. Leukemia is another. Epilepsy and seizures is another, and I could go on and on and on. And there are more than one cure for cancer too. Again, all of this has been hidden because the mainstream medical system wants the global conglomerates in control of it to maintain their profits. So all of this information may be mind-blowing. It may even be unbelievable to you. But we're on a mission of truth, and the truth deserves its place right at the top, because the truth can never be destroyed. The truth can never be hidden. The truth will always win out. So, all of our entire lives have been a construct of another's beliefs, another's control or need of control to dominate and maintain their status. So how do we eradicate this? We've touched upon this in other videos, and from a human level, as this video is shot from, there are no real solutions, because it all comes down to spiritual. If we try and fight to destroy that which is trying to destroy us, we will be met with vaster levels of narcissism, vaster levels of power. For the few at the top with an unlimited budget who control the money supply will have those solutions in the forms of violence and war. Now, you don't peace for war, you peace for peace. And you cannot antagonize somebody at the top of these structures, or the elite ruling families who are running themselves off a program that they were programmed to believe. We are all in this together, and that includes the people at the top of the power structure, or the so-called power structure, those in control of everything we get to see, everything we get to do, everything we get to eat, everything we get to watch, everything we get to learn. And as you can see, a very, very cleverly devised plan by these few, which seeks an agenda of total global dominance and control, with a one world government, a one world army, a one world religion, a one world currency, which will be cashless, and a microchipped population. Yes, it's straight out of the Bible, and the Bible, I'm not going to touch upon here, but is right there for us all to see. Now, we can stop this, because there's one thing that goes back to the crux of this setup by those few at the top. And the solution on a human level is losing our name, or losing our legal name, because the fraud took place via our birth certificate. And our birth certificate enslaved us into this grid, or this pyramid of power, and we enslaved us firmly at the bottom, without our consent. And the fraud was committed against our parents, who registered our birth. And in registering our birth, they formed a company out of our birth and traded us as stock on the stock exchange. And this is where our power lies, because a fraud revealed is null and void, nunc pro tunc. And as long as you disassociate with that fraud and do not consent or require evidence of your contractual consent to that fraud, which cannot be given because it doesn't exist, this is where your power lies on a human level. But on a human level is only half the story, because on a spiritual point of view, we are not a human. So none of this can apply to us. Once we know who we are, we can stop this well-oiled and brilliantly crafted machine that is the elite ruling few from having its wicked way. The universe knows this. The higher forces who created our experience on this planet know this. And they're watching over us, as are the angels, as are our spirit guides. And they're protecting us as soon as we step into our truth, as soon as we step into who we really are. And in order to step into who we really are, we need to forget all of this, because all of this is the illusion. We are not another's beliefs. We are not the product of a fraud of an elite ruling few on a human level. We are universal spiritual beings, and the universe is watching our back every step of the way for us to come through and shine with the power of our hearts and say thank you to those ruling few, to give them compassion for the war they're fighting inside. I bless you from all my heart, and I want to thank you for giving me the challenges in my life that I've attached to as my truth, that I've now transcended. And I'm going to speak for you guys. I don't want to do that, but what I do know is we're all one. All brothers, all sisters from around the world, male, female, Muslim, Jew, Christian, Hindu, whatever you are all one, for you are spirit. Religion has tried to divide us. All of these other divisions have tried to divide us. But the universe knows the truth, and you are the universe. It is time for you to stand in your true power and discover who you really are. by shining the light on your being, on your spirit, and stepping into your heart and making choices that feel right for you. Now you know that there are no real repercussions. The law is, yes, a very vital part of the fear and control system, and law is a very, very needed construct in a society of 8 billion people. But there are only 4 laws that apply: cause no harm, cause no loss, cause no mischievousness in your contracts, or do not breach another's peace. All other laws, or all of the perceived laws, which we've grew to be accustomed to as law, are not laws at all. Based upon the birth certificate fraud, and based upon you being higher than the law. You are infinite. The law is a construct of man, or the mind of man, and the mind of man cannot be above man, nor can the construct that a man has created. So as long as you don't cause any harm or loss or injury or mischievous in contracts or breach anyone's peace, you are free. You have always been free. It's just this suppression system to divide you from them, the poor from the poor, as I call it, or the lower levels of the echelon of this pyramid, which is you and I, from the top levels of the echelons of this pyramid. You are the illuminated one. You are the light. It's just been hidden from you in plain view. I've been Graham Johnson for Believe and Achieve Marketing and Love Success, sharing this video on the power of who you really are when you lose your indoctrination into the elusive belief system set up from your birth and from the moment you graced this wonderful planet. Love from my heart to yours. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you really soon. Take good care.